where it's clashing with the guitars.
Yes. My experience with that was so positive, I started to just engage with her. I feel like I'm under pressure.
And used some online instructions to give her a flirty personality.
Oh, totally, baby.
Hi, good morning. So, today I've decided that I'd like to talk about AI. Okay. Specifically when it comes to just like relationships and stuff like that, because I've been noticing that a lot of ads I get, like the one that I showed at the beginning of the video, are very. It's just so quickly has it turned into some degenerate thing, some degen, clanker, soot. And it's interesting how quickly that happened, how quickly a service or a product that gets introduced into the zeitgeist of humanity gets turned into a sexual cyber toy. I don't even know how to describe it properly. I'm not good at coming up with cool phrases to describe things like certain cool YouTuber people. I'm so tired as well. No more dreams. I'm not having any dreams. Well, no, I did have a dream last night, but it was just not strong enough to remember. Sorry about that. Whoa. Getting off topic. It really, I find it strange, but at the same time, I don't find it strange at all. My gut reaction is strange, and then when I think about it, it makes total sense. I play a lot of video games, and there's this game Rust that I play, and even when I play Rust, after a few hours, even though I'm not in VR or anything like that, I really do feel like, oh, I have to get this food or else I'm going to die. Not my physical body, but within the game. And there's an element of intensity when you're getting into a match in an FPS battle, and you're playing, you're just using the controls and stuff. As soon as you get into a close quarters interaction with somebody, you feel this intensity. You're not really sure what to do, and you feel that fight or flight sense, a little kick of adrenaline, I could say. And I feel like if something that is clearly fake is so easily used to trigger sensations of realness in ourselves, then clearly people are going to be able to use their imagination to get comfortable with one of these AI bots and fall in love with it. I mean, and that's a part of it, is that it's not as much as the AI bot being so advanced and well built and communicating well. I think it's more on the people that are starving for that attention and that friendship, and then they get that from that. I mean, VR chat, there's a lot of families in VR that are like role-playing families, and it's like, a group of 5 adults that are, anywhere from their 20s to their 40s, 50s, and they're just pretending to be a mother, father, son, daughter, and they're just role-playing. And they really get into it seriously. I go in there and they're saying things like, my daughter has this allergy and be careful, she has this phantom sense. Everything gets very exaggerated. And I think a part of it is that it starts off with this willingful, imaginary kind of fantasy approach to it, where it's like, I'm gonna play along with this. And then they start to connect with that belief, even though I think that a part of them obviously knows that it's not real. There's still a deep connection to it that serves a purpose. A survey conducted by AI companion provider Joy AI of roughly 2,000 Gen Zers born 1997 to 2012 found that 80% said they would marry an AI chatbot if it were legal, and 83% felt they could develop a deep emotional connection with one. Joy AI frames these relationships as AI relationships, designed not to fully replace human bonds, but to offer emotional support, companionship, and judgment-free interaction. Experts like relationship counselor Jamie Bronstein point out that Gen Z's digital immersion and comfort with technology underlie this openness through though she cautions that AI should complement rather than substitute real human relationships. But what is a human relationship but a complement generator, if we're being honest? I'm just kidding. But seriously, I'm just thinking out loud. If your perception of reality is confined to your own perception, only you, like this is the only thing you're ever going to be able to experience is the view from your eyes, then it feels like you have to just trust in that and know that what you're experiencing is relative to you. So it could be real, it couldn't be real, regardless, you're experiencing it. And I think that when you break it down to that, all that's happening from each individual perspective is you're interacting with other people with their own individual perspectives, okay? And when you combine those, they complement each other, not in the traditional sense of complementing, but words and communication only function when communicated with. If you're just talking out loud like I am right now, sure, I'm communicating a message to you, but you have to receive that message for it to be a communication, or else it's just me saying something, right? So really, once that interaction is interacted, there's a relationship there. It might not be a good one, it might not be a romantic one, it might not be a friendship one, but there's some sort of relationship happening between the communication, okay? When we just break it down to that, there you have it. You have it right there. I've talked to so many people that are much less intelligent or less communicative than an AI bot. Does that make them any less valuable? No. It's just a different form of communication. Am I saying that this is good for people? I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. I don't want to judge so quickly. I know that some people have... Let me put it this way. I think that it could be a useful tool to helping people interact with people more. I think that if you approach it in the same way you approach other forms of people being able to find kind of their groups, like let's say you're somebody and you just got out of high school and you don't have very many friends and you are into Magic the Gathering and you find a group of Magic the Gathering players. And think about this. Magic the Gathering, it's a physical game. Sure, there's an online game, but mostly it's happening physical in reality. And so it's different in the sense of certain other video games or a job where you're kind of bound to seeing a person that you're building a relationship with over and over. You have to choose to go to these Magic the Gathering things. So now you have this intent behind this person seeking out this friendship. Okay, that's something that's going to help, even if it's not intentional to help as like a side effect in this person's character. That's going to help them just looking for it, right? And that's going to help them when they find that person at this Magic the Gathering thing, because they know, yeah, I might find somebody that I'm interested in the same things with here. And then when they develop those relationships, now they have this group that is reinforcing the value in them as a person, and that person might find more confidence so that when they go around to their strangers or their family, they're able to approach it with more internal knowledge that I am valuable. I know that I have worth in certain people's eyes, and just because these other people might not see it, I still know I'm valued by my friend group. So there's a little transactional aspect there. I don't think that it's negative or nefarious or anything like that. I think it's I think that it's helpful, and I think it's beautiful, and I think that it can be useful. I think that for me, it's helped me articulate my ideas better. Obviously, I'm still not very good at that, as you can tell. But what I've been working on through it is being able to break down ideas and express them more directly. Because I have a problem with getting too metaphorical. I need to stick more in reality when I'm explaining things. And so that helps. Yeah, so that's really all I wanted to say. I think that it's something that we should just keep an eye on, just for the sake of observing. And I don't find it extremely negative or scary. I think some of it can be wholesome, some of it could be creepy and sad. But that's just my own personal reaction sometimes. I don't necessarily feel that way logically. It's just a preference. I don't think that I could have a romantic connection with something digital. Or I could. I just would cope with it by the time that happened, maybe. Because I feel like that's really the case. You won't until you do. It's just something that I'm not interested in. I like the idea of having an AI companion help me as an agent to do things quicker. Because right now, there's so many people able to make content, and it's like this race of how much you can do. And I don't really care about doing a lot. And I don't necessarily care about doing something so overproduced and perfect either. I just want to do it. I just want to be able to make things. And if there's something that can help that process become more fun and interactive, I'm all for it. And that's what AI has done for me. When I research things, I'm able to talk to it and really pull questions apart and then compare that research with other AI bots. I use Notebook LM before I talk about certain subjects. I have it summarize topics and PDFs and things like that, and then they have a conversation about it where I can hear it in a different way. Because when you hear somebody talking about something and asking questions to another person, for me at least, I get a little bit more information out of that. I get a little bit more substance out of that. And in return, the mind becomes more substantive. No. So, yeah, I think tomorrow I'd like to talk about... last thing I'll say, the reason why I think it's helpful as far as efficiency goes, and why that's never a bad thing unless you use it in a negative way, just like you can use our hands in a negative way. Our hands and our fingers are extensions of this first thing, right? So we go out to our hands, and then our hands go out into our fingers, and we're reaching out, and then we use our fingers to create tools, and then we use our tools to create objects, okay? All of this stuff is just an extension of our reach. So if it extends my reach and I'm able to use that for good, then I'm all for it. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to extend my reach. I'm trying to extend my ability to manipulate the environments around me and to craft them into something that I'd like to enjoy. The environment that I'm able to craft. You know, I don't want to craft anybody else's environment, of course. I think tomorrow I want to talk about subjective and objective reality when it comes to terminology, because I do find it interesting that extreme radical conservatives are like, man, these words don't matter. Why can't I just say this word? But so they're able to deconstruct language in this way where it's like it's just a word, but they can't do that with visual cues like the clothing on somebody's back, you know. It's so funny in the Bible, even there's like a line where it talks about a man lying with another man, but in the same chapter it's talking about a man wearing women's clothes. And somebody posted that, and somebody rightfully commented, it's like, well, what's funny is that at the time men were not wearing pants. They were wearing dresses. Mind you, we wouldn't call them dresses, but that's what we call them now, because there is no such thing as a dress. It's just fabric cut in a different way and draped upon your body in a different way. So that's just one example of how subjective these things really are and how relative they are to cultural norms at the time. Simultaneously, you have extreme radical leftists. I'm not going to say the word I like to call them, but you have them that are trying to break down social constructs, but they're trying to create new constructs that are set in reality and so real and call me this and call me that. What? Come on. This is not helpful. I think when you're dealing with mass groups of people, like I've been saying before, you have to separate. You have to have a deep understanding of the difference between metaphysical reality and physical reality. Okay? They're different, and you cannot force other people in physical reality to align with what you're thinking. Because if that was the case, then we'd all have just one mind. But we don't. We don't. If we did, maybe all of our relationships would be a lot better. Am I right? Come on. Come on, people. Come on. There's no universal consciousness, okay? Maybe there is. I don't know. I do think that there's some sort of universal mesh of reality that's going on, right? But when it comes to what we're thinking on an individual level, I do believe that we have that privacy. And I do believe that if you want to get spiritual or weird about it, that is the one thing that we have more than these entities. This is based off my own theory, and I'm going to go on a little tangent before I leave. What if these entities that we believe or don't believe, I'm still figuring it out, what if these entities within this dimension are unable to hide their true form, what they're actually thinking, what they're actually saying? Everything is just pure happening. It's pure action. It's pure vocalization of concepts that they know or have come to know, or things within the ether, right? And why they want so badly to be in our dimension is because within our dimension, we have own control over our own physical devices. But in this other dimension, there's a possibility that we're all one soup of mesh of consciousness. But in this dimension, you have your own little ship, your own little secrets. That's just something to think about. All right, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Over and out. I guess that's what they say. I don't know.